using a different mic, so instead of me plugging it in, I usually plug, it worked on TikTok, so I'm using it here now. But I generally plug this mic into my phone, which I constantly trip on because it's a very long cable. So I've decided to use one of my headsets that actually had a speaker input, not speaker, microphone input, and placed a different mic, which is the mic that I usually use, hopefully it's okay, into the headset, which is generally a video game headset, but I like it because it's so if I were to record, for instance, on, hello, how are you, Noah? Oh my goodness. Hi Noah, how are you? I'm basically going to talk about, well, I'm going to sit and talk today. Let me lower this. Can you hear me? I'm testing out this microphone and headset because you can hear me. That's good. Can you hear me through, I think you can hear me through this, right? Yeah, sorry I've not been on here. I've been a little busy trying to get everything together on, hold on, let me just move this up a little bit. On TikTok. So I'm now on TikTok and I'm putting things together over there. Maybe I'll sit over here for a few seconds. Let me angle myself a little bit. So tell me what you're up to. I'm gonna sit over here so I can, sorry, keep moving. But now I can move. So this is my cover. So I'm gonna move everything here. How are you doing? Tell me about what's happening on your side. Oh, let me get closer here. Yeah, I can sit over here and get closer. Good. Okay, yeah. I think I've tested this out on my on my TikTok page because everybody wants me to go live. So I've been going live lately on TikTok if you're around. That's good. I'm glad that you're doing your homework. That's very good. I'm happy to hear that. Always important to finish your homework. Just like me, I have so much stuff that I'm doing. This is part of my homework. Doing a live on YouTube so I get, consistency going. I'm often on sometimes because I have all these other things that I'm doing online. But I'm working at it. It's not easy. Never easy. You're done? That's good. And does your mom know that you're here watching me? I don't want her to not know. I want to make sure that she knows. What's the sigma? Oh, what's the signal? Do you not hear? Oh, are you looking at my ears? These are actually gaming things, but I usually have a cable that's so long that I trip on it. And I'm using a Bluetooth mic instead of walking around with this thing going into the phone. So I'm trying it a different way. Thanks for popping over, everybody. We're busy talking. I want to talk more about the lives and stuff because I've had so many people ask me questions on how the lives work. Both on, well, I do all three. I haven't done Facebook for a while, but you do lives on YouTube, lives on TikTok, and I'm busy helping like a group of people on TikTok right now because we, as a Gen Xer, it's like this new trend that's going on. Since I'm over 40, it's like this whole thing that's happening on the internet, and we're gathering up people who can help and assist. Not everybody, but the people that I'm kind of working with right now, we're busy helping like people try to get onto the lives. And say, for instance, you're talented and you're like a creative person and you live in the United States specifically. I have another person that's actually helping musicians and artists on the United States side who will get access for the lives without necessarily being at 1,000 followers. So that's like the whole discussion. I know it's like a big thing because they're, oh, I'm not reading up a, what are my pronouns? I'm a girl. Qualifications, miss. Yes, I got my master's degree, Mr. or Mrs. I got my master's. I'm a 44-year-old master's grad. What are your qualifications? Yes. Hello, Kitty. I know these bright, colorful things. I think they're kind of cool. I haven't worn them on here, but I think it's kind of fun. Who sees a 44-year-old walking around with a headset? So yes, if I take them off, you won't be able to hear me, right? I have my hair and all that stuff, all sorts of places. Qualifications. Some people say the weirdest things. Can you not hear I'm a girl? I'm a girl with a deep voice. That's what it is. Can you teach how to drink water? You know, this is... Oh, yeah? Oh, I'm an old lady. Thank you. I do appreciate it. I don't know if that's the case. I think... Here, let's see if I can... I have to hear my voice, so I have to have one of my ears out. So I'm getting a chance... Thank you. Yeah, I'm an artist. I've gotten my master's. I did my bachelor's in art. So I'm an artist. I'm a qualified artist. You can see all of these things here. That's my painting that I did. That's part of my master's. And this I put together. And the music you hear in the background is stuff that I produced. So I use it for background music because I know that YouTube is very specific. Sure, I can. Give me 2 seconds. Okay. You need to... Okay. Hi, Gabby. How are you? Aw. That's okay. That's great. I hope Gabby's doing okay. Oh, you're Irish? That's wonderful. Oh, you can... Yeah, that's great. That's very cool. Yeah, I feel as if... okay, so my main plan was to have a conversation. I know it feels like a bit of a TikTok moment, doesn't it? Jamie, say hi, Jamie. Crystal, English or Spanish? I speak English. I never studied Spanish, believe it. I studied Japanese as a child. I don't know what that means. Sally, are you guys kids? I was trying to have a conversation on going live and having a discussion on live, and everybody's kind of changing the subject on sitting and talking. So the way I'm looking right now is more or less how it looks, which is interesting, more or less how it looks on the live on TikTok, and I think that's more or less the kind of visual that we're looking at here. But I'm generally here to... Hola, ¿cómo estás? At least I could pronounce that. That's pretty good. After that, it's like don't ask me to speak because I don't speak it. Gracias. Is that Gailater? Rizeller. Oh my God, my pronunciation's bad. Kashmir. No, I have not. You guys are so funny. So you kids are on mostly, I'm sure you guys are younger people, mostly on YouTube. It's so weird because I'm speaking to a lot of adults on TikTok now. So I'm sort of like, well, what is going on with this? This is very interesting. It looks like a lot more kids are on here. I'm glad that you guys have popped over. But I want to just, I wanted to kind of have a discussion on, have you guys gone live on TikTok? Or, oh, maybe if you're younger, you probably would not because they have restrictions, right? Just like they have restrictions on here too, which is understandable. They have restrictions for a reason. You're a teenager. Well, in my eyes, you're still a kid because I'm 44 years old. I'm probably your parents' age. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, my headphones are a bit cray-cray, which is fine. And why do you say that? Dordel Felicic. I think it depends on the type of people that you're dealing with. To be honest, lately, there have been a lot of good things that have happened on TikTok that I've noticed. It's sort of switched, which is good. So I don't think banning, the one that I really think we should ban is actually Facebook, but that's just me. I'm just, because I was on Facebook as well, and I've done the monetization, I've done the whole thing. Totally different feel. Totally different. It doesn't feel real. It has something else there. Oh yeah, you've gone live? Where have you gone live? On Facebook, on YouTube, on TikTok, on Instagram. You can probably go live on Instagram. Held for review. Yeah, I don't know who's sending. Yeah, okay. How do you feel about going live on TikTok? Let's have a talk. Let's have a discussion. I want to know your opinions on your personal experience. This is why I wanted to talk about it today, because I feel it's a big discussion. And I know when I was having the discussion on TikTok yesterday, there was like this whole thing about why people are scared to go live and their personal opinions on how uncomfortable it feels. So that's good. I'm glad you enjoyed it. It's weird, right? When you go live, it's like you're talking to yourself, but you have a conversation and you're speaking to people. For me, that was like the hardest part to like accept. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going live, but nobody's around. I'm like the only person here, but I know it's connected to the internet, right? So it was like a big, I think everybody's biggest fear is going live and not knowing the unknown. I think that's the biggest. Yes, I know. I know you guys are here. I can see. I mean, I can't see you. I could, in theory, if you were over a certain age, I could let you on my lives, which is what I've been doing on my TikToks, because you have to be a certain age. So that's like the whole thing, right? And I've put together my own page. I've made sure that the monetization is important. That's like a big thing on YouTube. It's like a whole bunch of things. And yeah, I guess the interest of what people are interested in both hearing and visualizing and seeing and talking about and all that stuff. Oh, you're so sweet. I am talking. Yeah, you have to be 18, absolutely. And it's probably a good thing, because you don't want to be in a situation where compromises are happening on platforms. So I do feel it is, and I'm glad that they're putting age limits on certain places. I think that is important. I think that's very, very important. Royal, there you go. Yeah, so I think if you do it the right way, sorry, I gotta scratch my neck. If you do it the right way and you're going in with good reasons to go in, rather than just going in because of any particular coolness or whatever, then it's cool, it's fine. But you have to be responsible. I think that's like the most important stuff. Crystal, yes, I can. I think I did I not say it? I'm sorry if I didn't say it. Crystal? That would be the second time. Yeah, so it's a whole thing. I think it is a whole thing on trying to identify, but it's hard to identify a topic to talk about, right? Like, I've done a lot of things on YouTube where I try to talk about like paintings, and then I talk about and I talk about like the music production side, and I have a lot of videos on music production and how this was made and how to set up a space, because I set my own space up, right? So as an artist that does a variety of skills, I think it's like it's important to know how to put certain things together. Like I would not have known how to plug this in, okay, how to figure this out. If I were to take this out and unplug it, it would be a very raw sound. There would be a lot of echo in the background and you'd hear it. Because I'm wearing this particular set of headphones, it's slightly muffled, but there's like quality control, like sound control, which is important. And usually when I plug this in, I'm just tripping on everything. So you have to know a setup. You have to make sure that the setup is correct before you jump in and actually do a live. Once you get to that stage and you've been semi-monetized and all that stuff, right? You live in India, Suhail, is that pronounced right? I probably blotched it. How many genders? What are you talking about? I'm allowed to dress any way I like to dress, actually. And I am a female. And I'm married with a husband. So if you have those kind of questions, then you might be going down the wrong path, sir. And I could easily start reporting you. And once you are reported, then YouTube deals with you later on. So I would recommend slowing down on crude questions and strange discussions, because this is an open public space. And as the person that is in charge of this channel, I have a right to block you or report you. So please be kind, pleasant, and considerate, because that is important for... I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, yes, there are, but there, you know, I mean, it is. Okay. Hold on, folks. Give me a moment, please. Okay. So hopefully people know that I don't play games here on my channel. And anybody that has issues or problems trying to understand a person's lifestyle, I am married, I have a husband, okay? Doesn't mean to say that I don't believe in people's rights, okay? My mom is mixed South African, my dad is Jewish American, and I'm 44 years old, and I have lived many lives, and I've also lived lives outside of the internet. We did not have this growing up. This is a whole new spectrum, okay? I'm responding to this. So what if you're a taxpayer citizen? So am I. I'm also a taxpayer citizen. What's the problem? And I don't even know why you're still on here. That's so crazy. Actually, let's do that. Sorry, people. I'm trying to block this one person, Dordy Valesic. I don't know where they're from, but he's saying some pretty crude and very rude things. And I'm just, you know, it's a public place. And yes, it is actually Pride Month, okay? So Pride Month in the United States means that we are allowed to freely talk. I'm married with a guy, like I have a husband, like he's a guy. So it's not, it shouldn't be anybody else's problem. Hello, how are you? How are you? Obedi? Abdu? The pronunciation, I actually have reported you. And in a few moments you will be removed. So don't you worry about that. I've reported other people too, so it's not a big deal. How old are you, sir? Should I report your age too? Okay. I think that has been resolved and it has been reported to YouTube, so we will see what happens. I am actually in charge of this channel. I had nobody set this up for me. This is everything I've done for myself. Okay. So like I was saying, going back to a little bit more of a pleasant discussion, if anybody has any questions on, I've just recently started going live on TikTok. It's like, for me, it's sort of new, but I have been working around the YouTube thing. And I know there are a lot, oh, thank you. You're so sweet. And for some reason, I keep coming back to hear these wonderful things. I'm so old now that I don't even see myself as anything more than a 44-year-old woman. But I'm trying to stay young. I'm definitely trying to stay young. I do appreciate it. But I don't know. Okay, let's hear what other people have experienced. Okay, and what if you're a viewer watching, for instance, a TikTok or a YouTube? How do you feel as a viewer watching people? Let's hear some questions. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I am old. I even have a broken leg, so I'm definitely hobbling along versus running. I don't sprint anymore, I hobble. That's why I wear a waist trainer, because I can't do a lot of things that I used to back in the day. You know, so it's a different kind of, I think once you're over a certain age, things start to change and life starts happening, you know. A little bit less stressed. The person that was really bothersome has now hopefully been removed. Hi, how are you? Oh yeah, it is what it is. I mean, I can show you. Yeah, my lifestyle has had to change. Let's put it that way. I've had to change how I go about doing things in life and how I maneuver and what kind of exercises I do and the cautiousness of just general life. So if I trip, if I were to use this and not this, I'd be tripping on a cable that I probably don't need to trip on. So we're trying to make life easier. Watch. Tell me, I'm going to go to another room. Tell me if you can hear me still. Let's test it out. I just want to... Hi, how are you? What is it? Darko? Carco? Crystal's still here. Faison Seika? Faison Seika. Oh, good. Good people are on here. That's fantastic. Hold on a second. Let me just... Darko, right? Darko. I see. Okay, hold on a second. Tell me if you can hear me. Can you hear me? I'm just going to check out something in here quickly. Let me just see the iPad. Huh. Oh, here it is. My iPad's here. Trying to find my iPad. Can you hear me? So when I walked outside, did you hear me still, or was I like at a distance? So you can hear. Did you hear me when I was in the other room? Was it like still the same? Okay, so that's good to know. Meaning, if you guys ever need to get like a headset, but make sure you don't use this. This is terrible. This mic is absolutely horrible. But this is a good headset because you can't really hear anything. It kind of controls the sound. And then you have to plug in a new, different type of microphone though, because this is so bad. So having the right quality stuff, most people are using these, what are these? These are for the iPad, iPod, what are these called? Earpods. I don't like them. They give me a headache, so I don't wear those. Forbidden. Oh, really? Oh, I'm sorry. What's the reason? How are you guys doing though on like a basis of how about this? Can you guys tell me where you're from? Let me know where everybody's from. I'm curious. I love meeting people from around the world. I lived in 5 different countries when I was growing up. I lived in Japan. I lived in Indonesia. My mom is South African, so I lived in South Africa. Oh, I see. Well, that's not good. That's not good either. Serbia, that's wonderful. How is Serbia? I've never been. I can't say that I've been to Serbia. I can't say that I've been to Serbia. New York and Mexico, cool. See, international. This is why I love coming back and communicating and talking and socializing. People are so scared. Like I know a lot of people who have the capabilities of going live on YouTube, but they're so scared. So I'm supposed to show everybody how this works and how it's put together. My theory is as long as you keep to the responsible standards of YouTube and their monetization program, and making sure you don't use other people's music specifically on here because they will not allow it. This is the reason why I play this in the background, is because it is the music I produce. And I do teach people how to do that, if that is something. This message is held for review. Is somebody else giving me problems on here? Oh, people. I don't know why there's some people that are on here that want to cause drama. You do realize that YouTube will take charge of the space. I don't think it's I don't know who it is. Fans of Serbia. From Serbia. Gotcha. Thank you so much. Nothing wrong with that. Well, I'm thankful everybody's coming over and visiting. I have a little wrap on my head because I'm not Muslim. I do have family members that are Muslim and Hindus and Buddhists. I'm like global, right? I'm just growing my hair out, so the roots are showing, but I like wearing my bandana. I do like wearing my bandana. Somebody was a little rude on here earlier, so I hope that the person has been removed through reports and blocking and all that stuff, because you can do that. It is probably better if you have a moderator, which I probably should consider doing eventually, but everybody has a different time, and I know I'm living in the United States, so most people would be working at this time in a normal job position, so this wouldn't be like a doable option, you know, for... I'll be interviewing people. Hopefully I will be interviewing people shortly. Most likely people, musicians from around the world on this channel. So I'm really hoping that you know, I'll incorporate these kind of things onto this channel too. Besides talking about music and dealing with art stuff or questions people have when it comes down to creating music on an iPad or an iPhone, I have lots of videos. I've created over, that's how much time I had on my hands. I was able to put that together. I should have more. It will be happening soon. I need a break because it's called overworking. You can burn yourself out as well. You guys are so sweet. Yeah. So tell me more about yourselves. Let's hear your experiences going live if you have, and how you feel, and your comforts and uncomforts, and all of that stuff. I'm curious to know what everybody else feels about the live experience. This is something we never had when I was growing up. Like, we would meet people and we would socialize person to person. However, we didn't have the socializing from around the world, which is what we have now. So these internet accesses have connected all of these to bring everybody together a little bit closer. You're a cheerleader? That's cool. I was actually very athletic before until I broke the leg. I loved cycling. I used to do horse riding. I was a swimmer, not like a sporty swimmer. I was around athletes all the time. I was around Marines. Lots of athletic stuff going on in my life. Until, now I'm spending a lot more time on the internet. So I'm trying my best to bring in the exercise, and that's part of what I'm doing on the lives. I don't do the lives with exercise. I don't know, it's kind of weird having people watch me go live with exercise. It happened once. I was on TikTok the other day, and somebody wanted to be invited while I'm exercising. It was so weird. I was like, I don't know, it feels uncomfortable. So I decided maybe we should stick to the lives as more of a like discussive place, right? I'm from the USA. Oh, that's cool. I'm glad that there are people coming in and talking today. Maybe that's all it was. Maybe I was too serious. Today is just a relaxed day, and I think maybe it's important to start, enjoying everybody else coming over to these spaces and stuff. I think it's kind of fun to meet new people besides just, right? What does yes. I'm also curious, what does that mean? So yeah, that's basically, and it's not showing now, I'm not gonna, but that's the other part of my space. I don't know if you know that I play the piano and all that stuff, but I feel as if when I play the piano, I have to be a little bit more serious because I need to focus on stuff. Oh. That's so cool. See, I like it. You guys are talking all sorts of wonderful things. I love it. So yeah, that was a very interesting starting point. There was somebody that really wanted to like get at me, and I was like, no, you can't do that on here. So now the question is, how many people have gone live on YouTube? How many people have gone live on Facebook? And let's hear everybody's experience. What has everybody experienced on the platforms that you've gone live, if you've been able to go live? Because obviously it is an age restriction, right? That's cool. I'm glad you guys are talking. Okay, so yeah, so that's basically the whole, that's fantastic. So what would you like to, let's see if I can do anything on here. Let's go into this. So I don't have it on here. I should probably, makeup and beauty. I've been behind on my, give me a second. I'm going into my Poshmark because I have that too, which is fashion. I've been slacking on the Poshmark today. Oops. I see. Okay. And are these directions that you guys are thinking about going on? I mean, is this like, I think a lot of people, when I'm talking to people, people are always so scared about first coming onto the lives in any platform because it is scary. You don't know what you're going to say and people misunderstand or misinterpret, right? In fact, you don't even know if you're making any sense. So that's like the step number one. Are we making sense when we're having a conversation on a platform where we can't hear other people but we can hear ourselves? It's super weird. I mean, even I have to like accept, or I have to agree that the weirdness comes because you just don't know. What is nice is that you can actually, I don't know if you guys know this, but you can download your lives and you can reuse those to recreate like videos, which is why I enjoy doing this, so I don't have to film like 3 different like videos and then keep on editing. I'm constantly being, I go live and then I can use this as a grounding for like a vision or a discussive like moment, which is important. Yeah, you need about 50 or more, yeah, about more or less 50. And the way I did it is I just constantly just uploaded videos from short form to long form. So it is doable. I've gotten to this stage. I'm not getting paid yet on YouTube, nor am I getting paid on TikTok yet, but I am connecting with the right things. Sorry, bubbles. I was getting paid on Facebook, but I was not comfortable on Facebook. So I moved from Facebook to another platform, and I'm also doing Poshmark, where I am getting paid to do like sell clothing and all that stuff on that particular platform. So it's like the new thing. Even when you're doing interviews, if you're doing an interview now, people are always requiring like a video, like discussing who you are and what your capabilities are and all that stuff. It's like, it's so different now from when I grew up. It's just different. Like, this is the social time, and back in the day, like, the social time was being outside, and being in the room would be like looking at the wall and nobody was around. So it's totally reversed now. It's the weirdest thing. It's like, it's so weird. It doesn't just not have any privacy. I think the problem is Facebook is more, it's more, I hate to say it, it's a little bit more controlling. Like, they persuade you not to bring up, like, if you bring up other discussions on other platforms, it's a problem, right? So if you put links on Facebook from other platforms, you cannot get monetized. It's so weird. It's like the whole thing just doesn't make any sense. I mean, you can't necessarily do that on these platforms as well, but at least you can put links to other links or other sites and all that stuff below the videos that we're doing on here, which is what I like about YouTube a lot, is that this becomes like the business. There's like a little bit more of a business structure, and you can send this to people and use it as like a portfolio. So I like using YouTube as that right now. This is like my portfolio. It's like my whole storyline is on here, from my websites that I've built to SoundCloud to the new TikTok to I do have the Facebook, but I don't really use it often, to music production, to art. It's like, it's everything. I think it's fantastic. And the privacy with you can put it on private mode on Facebook, but the problem is you cannot get monetized if it's on private mode. So there's like that too. I also think TikTok is a very open space too, but you can control your situation. If you don't want to go live on TikTok, you don't necessarily have to. You're not pressurized into it, Oh, this message has been reviewed. Who's giving me funny messages? Is it me that's saying something that YouTube doesn't like? I don't even know. I'm not sure what's going on. People are starting to create mini. Yes. Oh, yes, that's absolutely true. That is absolutely true. You're so correct. And it happens on all the platforms. It's not just on Facebook. It's actually everywhere, right? And that becomes a very concerning issue. This is why keeping the youth safe and secure is important. That is why it's necessary. Yeah, I think it's a matter of yeah. I don't know. I think out of all the platforms, I really do think YouTube it's been around from like day one. It's like step number one to actually understanding how this stuff works, right? So I'm going to continue working on YouTube. You know, no matter how long it takes, I feel as if this is my comfort zone. Even though you get these very strange people that come in very odd messages and say dumb things. Like there was somebody that just insulted me over nonsense. You know, I mean, I am a female. It's not like, you know, but we are in the United States, and in the United States right now, people are allowed to speak out for their rights. You know, that is allowed. It's not like, you know, I don't think it happens in all the countries. So maybe the misunderstanding is that people don't understand America as well, you know? So it becomes a concerning, like, how do you communicate to people who don't necessarily understand the cultural diversity or the non-diversity. It just depends on where you come from. That's all it is. Yeah. It's a very interesting phenomenon. I do miss the old days because I really preferred being outside and getting some exercise and meeting up with friends on bicycles and taking a bike trip to wherever and enjoying the socialness of being outside and, you know, in the fresh air. Now it's like totally reversed, as I said before, and we have to acknowledge that the world has changed. Like I've had to accept it. It's like, okay, this is now how life works. Unless you have like a full-time job and then you're out there and I create my own jobs, if that makes any sense, because that's, yeah, so it's a very interesting situation. Yeah. So I don't know. There's some very interesting messages. I think it's that same person. I'm just going through my screen. I'm checking to see if there's anything. Very interesting. It's a pity because, you know, our generation, it's just one of those things that the technology has created. People have lost the sense of reality. They think it's okay to insult people on screen, thinking that it's okay, but I think people forget that the person that sets up the setup has control over the situation, and it's one thing to, like, and I get tendencies of like losing my mind. I'm like, oh, I can't believe the person said that, because that's who I am. I'm like Gen X. Yeah, Gen X. We go out and we're tough, you know. We'll go bing 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 bong. We're here at your house. Did you call me? Have you like? Did you ring my doorbell? Would you like me to come over and like introduce myself? So it's a different generation. You can't, you know, I think the really younger people who think it's okay to insult people online think it's okay, but you know, we grew up where we had teachers that had rulers, and those rulers were used on us. It was different, you know? So the generations change. That's just how it is, you know? Old days were really golden. I know! Oh, yeah, I know. These mobiles, I tell you, it becomes a very concerning. Now, I used to teach in a classroom with students and kids, so I've dealt with younger people. I still deal with younger people, and the younger people that I deal with, like, I don't teach in a school for a reason. We have cameras all over our complex. I live in a complex, so if I'm teaching, I make sure that the camera is looking directly at the student, and I'm like, yeah, one move and we got you on camera. That's how I work now. So we're, you know, I play it dumb, but I'm not dumb. You know, I've figured out the tasks of the things that you have to do, because the internet is like all I really need to do is literally just pull out like TikTok and or YouTube, and I go live, and then there's my report. I was like, here's proof. Here's like, who wants to see the proof? So we could, you know, it could be your verification of whether or not you're telling the truth or not. And I think that it's crazy how it's working now, but I feel as if technology has gotten to the point where it's either out of control or could be used on a very useful level. So it just depends on how you react. So I have somebody that's trying to help me to stay calm because there are people that say some really crazy things. And I'm like, you know what? Just because you're behind the screen doesn't mean to say that I'm not in front of the camera speaking and I'm the one that's going to be looking a little cray-cray. So we're we're keeping it cool so I don't look like a crazy person, because they want a reaction, right? People want a reaction. For what reason? Because they can't get on their lives? You know, it's easy to do it. This is why I'm here, because if you guys need to talk about how to get on the lives, we can like have a discussion on it, right? It's fun to understand how to do things, but it's another situation when you learn how to create and put it together yourself. It has. It is. Download the, yeah, I mean, that is also exactly. So my husband is an IT specialist, so technology is his forte. And he has like everything locked down. So I'm very grateful that I'm with somebody that really understands the technology. If he needs to build a computer, he can build a computer. If he needs to probably even make a robot, he probably could, out of the understanding of what he's capable of doing. So I'm very grateful that I'm with somebody that understands the inside workings of technology versus just understanding the basic structure of how to put things together. Like on the surface level, because this is called surface level, right? The internal workings is what makes it a masterful skill. Okay, so what would you like to know about myself? Okay, so I always talk about this, but I lived in 5 different countries. The first country that I lived in I actually lived in Japan and Indonesia. My name is from Indonesia, Sinta. It's probably pronounced wrong, but Sinta is pronounced, it's Indonesian, so it's actually an Asian name more than anything else. Okay. And my starting point was never in the United States. I started off in Asia. I spoke Indonesian, I spoke Japanese. I lived in Japan for about 9 years of my life. I lived both in northern Japan, which is like a rural area, which is like more farmland, and then I lived in the urban area, which is Tokyo, and I lived in Tokyo for a few years. So all this, sorry, bubbles. All this is inspired by Japan and what I experienced growing up as a kid, because these are things that we never had. If I had these as a kid, I'd be like, yay, I'm wearing them everywhere. This is like a whole new thing, right? We didn't experience this. We were drawing these kind of things as kids. We were designing like ideas of the ideal outfit or the coolest style or what kind of things technology would look like. Yes, I have been to 5. I've lived in 5 different countries. My dad was a diplomat, a U.S. diplomat, if that helps. No longer. He's no longer part of the embassy. But he was, and that's why, you know, I feel as if I understand this new world of integration and communicating with people from around there, because that's what I did my whole life. This feels like normal for me. For a lot of people, it doesn't feel normal. It doesn't make sense, because it's a new kind of experience to experience people from around the world talking to one another. For me, it was like sort of like a normal thing, right? The only difference is we didn't have the technology back then, and I was always looked at as the oddball out. So I was like, I didn't fit anywhere. I didn't make any sense to people. I was just different. So I accepted the fact. I accepted the fact that the difference is probably going to eventually, yeah, work out one day. didn't think that it was going to be 42 years or 40 years later, but hey, you know, that's how life goes. So it's, yeah, it's, you know, you don't always meet people that have actually traveled as a kid. So I'm one of those. I'm one of those, like, funny, I have not, but I have friends and family. I have family that are from parts of India. We're mixed. So my mom is mixed South African, and we have, it's funny because a lot of the food that we eat is a lot of curry in South Africa, believe it or not. So we eat a lot of, yeah, a lot of Indian dishes. And I love Indian dishes. I'm all about the chilies and the curries. Yeah, definitely. Haven't been, but I certainly feel like when I go back to South Africa, it's just like being in parts of India. It's very interesting. So yeah, I've experienced it in a bit of a different way. Yeah, so you should take a look at so Cape Town. So if you go into the history of South Africa, it's the southern part of Africa, right? Africa is a continent, and then there are countries within the continent. And South Africa is like the lower section of, obviously, Africa. And in South Africa, there were a lot of people that were, I don't know if I want to get into this, but there was like the spice trade, and with the spice trade came some like history. And the spice trade was basically trading spices between India, England, and Cape Town. Cape Town would be the other part of South Africa. And all of those things were happening, and people were integrating. That's part of the South African history, is that we have a lot of Indian descent, believe it or not, from different parts of India who now have family in South Africa, believe it or not. So that's what that is. I know about fabrics. I'm all about textiles. I know that the quality of clothing is absolutely phenomenal. I know that people who have Indian backgrounds generally have manufacturing companies. So I know a lot about the textile industry because you have a lot of manufacturing companies in South Africa as well. Jewelry, the spices, so we can talk about the spice trade, which happened, I don't know, like 18 something. I don't know all the details. But world history is definitely something I'm very fast. I did my master's in art, and my master's in art was, it was interesting because I did my bachelor's in the United States for the arts, but I decided to go to South Africa to study my master's art degree. And that brings up all the discussions of people and lifestyle. You know, you could choose the subject you could discuss and write about, and I chose to talk about cultural backgrounds. So that was my interest, you know. And then when I was living in Japan, I learned about Japanese culture. So I liked the fact that the diverseness of what I learned was sometimes you can't learn it in books in one country. You have to go to different countries to learn it. At least back then. Now we have YouTube, and everybody's producing from all over the world, so we can pull out our notes, our notepads, and our research, and we can analyze it together. It's different. I like it. I like the fact that we have this accessibility. Before, there was nothing like this. Like, you'd have to go to another country to learn about the country, right? That's like, it didn't exist. That's why I'm like, maybe this is where I'm supposed to be. I'm supposed to be here, like, appreciating every culture, because that's what I'm about. That's what I studied. I studied to understand people, to understand their culture, to understand backgrounds, to understand foods. I love food from all over the world. I love it. My husband's Cambodian, you know. He's like, believe it or not, but in Cambodia, the cultural history is not just diverse, but the Buddhism there is related to the Hinduism. So it's sort of like everything interlocks. It's very interesting. I know, I don't know too much about the Taj Mahal, but I know that it's an absolutely beautiful space. I know it's a place for prayer. I know it's made out of, I think it's made out of marble. I don't know how many years. I also know that it was probably made for, I don't know if it was made for a queen or a king made it for its wife, their wife or something. There was some sort of history behind that. It's a very interesting, I think it had something, I don't know if it's religious or if it's like a love story. I just can't remember which one it was. There's so many stories like that out there. So yeah, it's very interesting. I think it's very, yeah, it's a one, I really feel like that is, but not just YouTube. TikTok has become something like that too. YouTube was the first place, right? This is the introduction to how diverseness came about, at least on a public spectrum. It was not like that before. Like, I would have to go overseas, literally overseas, to like learn something about another culture, because yeah, it's just, so I'm grateful for myself learning that stuff when I was younger. Maybe that's why people think I'm like younger, because I've experienced it in a bit of a different way, you know? Yes, I knew it. Do I get like an A+ for my class? I was pretty sure it was either religious or it's something to do with a love story. So yeah. So I know a little bit. I don't know a lot, but I know a little bit. I know just a little bit. Ask me about Japan. I can tell you a lot about Japan too. I can't speak it anymore. I spoke it fluently when I was younger. So it's like a whole, yeah. See, so I know a little bit. I do. I try my best. You know, and yeah. So it's a very interesting, and I think that's why I married the husband I married, because he's Cambodian, and he's culturally diverse, and he's lived in the United States, but he's traveled the world. He comes from a different country. He understands me because my name is so Asian. A lot of people who are Filipino think that my name is Filipino, but it's actually authentically, oh, you're gonna like this one. You said India, right? So Sinta was derived from, I don't even want to talk about it, but if you know who Sita was in the Ramayana, that's the original storyline of where the name comes from. So, but I try not to that's not even like, you know, my name is Sinta. It was transferred from the name and then it was created into like a different name or form. So there are a couple of countries that can relate to the name in a couple of different ways. So that's basically what that is. Yes, I do know that it's one of the 7 wonders of the world. So is Angkor Wat in Cambodia. Cambodia is also I'm sure you know a little bit about Cambodia since it's so close by. So yeah, very interesting. Yes. Well, this is a nice conversation from this very dark, strange starting conversation of people trying to nudge me for some reason, to a very normal, decent, relaxing, understanding. See, I wish more conversations were like this, because there's sometimes people just don't understand that cultural diversity comes beyond just, you know, you think somebody's just from one country, but you got to get to know their story a little bit. Yeah. Well, I'm so honored that you're having a conversation with me about India. I love it. So, okay. What can I ask about India? What's your favorite dish? In fact, do you cook? And do you cook? Oh, that's wonderful. Well, me too. This is so cool, guys. I thoroughly enjoy this. I do enjoy this. Yeah, I mean, It's a very, it's very strange because I'm usually playing the piano or I'm talking about production. This is the first time I'm really sitting close up to the screen, and I do think that TikTok has helped me have a conversation like this. I would never get so close to the screen. I'd be like, let me keep myself busy because I'm talking to myself, right? I mean, you know what I mean. Like you're in a room by yourself. This is a good thing to talk about. You're in a room by yourself. You're trying to entertain people, and at the same time, it feels like you're still talking to yourself because all you're doing is you're reading the screen. So it becomes an uncomfort for a lot of people, you know. Biryani. Oh, I like biryani too. What kind of biryani do you like? Lamb? Yeah? Biryani's very nice. We make biryani in our family too. That's so cool. Oh, thank you. No, I mean, this is you're bringing up stuff that my family does. So I'm like, that's so cool. I don't speak any Indian, but we definitely have cultural upbringing from because people from India came to South Africa and they moved there. So this is like it's part of our culture. Yeah. Samosas are also good. They're a little greasy, but I like my samosas. Do you have, I don't know if they're called cook sisters in India, but they're like these, in South Africa, they're called cook sisters, where it's like a dough. It's almost like making a donut, but the donut is mixed with like coconuts on the top, and it's actually like made into like a swirly thing, and I don't know if that's, but we have cook sisters in South Africa. Yeah, so it's interesting. What other things? I like chili. Like I can't go without eating chili in my dishes. It's kind of weird. People are like, "What are you doing?" I said, "There's no spice. If there's no spice, it's not a dish." See? But that's because South Africa has Indian, we have Indian background. So there you go. It's, this is why people think, like, where are you from? I cannot tell you where I'm from. I'm from everywhere and anywhere. Most likely I just can't speak the languages. That's the only thing I can't do. However, AI can help you with that because it's a good translator. They can help you translate. So if I need to have a question answered in like a language, go to AI, blah, 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 answer, and then I can translate it. It's like, here you go. Oh, you've lived in Russia. I haven't lived in Russia. How's Russia? That must be awesome. How was your experience living there? That must have been very cool. That is awesome. I don't even know if I've had any Russian food, so I cannot answer any questions about Russia, unfortunately. That is like I haven't gone to Europe. It was mainly Asia and like Africa for me. Congratulations. Oh my goodness, wait a minute. So are you living in Russia now? Or are you living in India? Has your family moved from India to Russia? Is that what it is? Or have you personally just moved to Russia? That's so cool. I love hearing stories from people's stories. I mean, this is so awesome. This is what I like, to learn about the cultures. I love it. I love it. I think this is wonderful. Maybe I should just do a whole cultural discussion day. I mean, this is almost like a cultural discussion day, right? We're like learning different countries and information from around the world. You guys are amazing. Am I pronouncing your name right? Faizan? Oh my god, I'm probably watching it. Sake? Okay. So you have family in India, and then you moved back, or you've now decided. So you've gone off, had the family visit, and now you're back living in Russia again. Is that correct? Yeah. That's so cool. I love it. I love it. I should actually. Wow, I'm going on for like hours. I don't usually stay on longer than an hour. You guys are getting me. This is a good conversation. Hey, I'm liking this. Yeah. And no,
that's fine. Oh, no, you're okay. You're okay. I'm enjoying it. This is wonderful. Um, I was planning on doing a Poshmark show at 5 o'clock because then I have Poshmark. Poshmark is a fashion, like, it's like a fashion, like, people sell on TikTok, right? And they do their clothing, all that stuff. Poshmark is the same thing. It's just a different platform, and it's specifically focused on the United States. So I go there live too. So I'm slowly monetizing work on each platform. You just have to be careful how you go about doing it, and obviously understanding the rules and regulations of each of the platforms to make sure that you're able to do the right things so none of this goes away. Because the whole point is to keep going. Like, this is lifetime of work, guys. This is sorry, bubbles. I get some bubbles on occasion. So yeah. Well, this is wonderful. Oh yeah, no, I'll be going live again. You can definitely ask me more. And if you're on TikTok, I am also on TikTok. But on TikTok, we're actually gathering people up who really need help getting onto the lives. They're so scared. Everybody's scared. This is why I'm doing this, because I want to prove to people it's not to be scared. Don't be scared of going live. Like, you have to imagine yourself in a room full of people, because that's what you're actually doing, right? We're jumping onto screen, and there's like thousands of people on here. Who knows who's gonna pop over? It's bubbles. I heard somebody giving bubbles the other day on TikTok. I was like, oh no, she's bubbling. Oh, is it? Wait, but now you said you're in Russia. Are you in Russia or India? Yeah. Oh, that's... So why are they banning... Oh, you know what it is? Maybe because it's too open in discussion. Telegram number. No. That's fine. What you can do is just keep coming back here on YouTube. I'm here. That's okay. I hope one day I'm going to get monetized. I mean, I'm slowly moving up on whatever it is that I'm supposed to be doing correctly. It's just a matter of, are my discussions, like, am I supposed to, so this is a good discussion. So am I supposed to be discussing cultural, like, relevancy? Or am I supposed to be discussing, like, music production, which everybody can do? Or, I mean, these are all the questions. Like, I want to answer all the questions. I want to incorporate everything into my discussion. But everybody says you have to focus on one thing. And I'm like, I don't know. Do you? I mean, do you have to live in one country your whole life? I mean, that's my question. I was like, I didn't live in one country my whole life. So I know that doesn't have to be. You can travel and move wherever you want now. Before it wasn't as much, but now it's possible. You're in India right now, I see. Well, I'll be live. I mean, it's not like I'm not going to be here. I will be here. I can't believe I've been on for so long. You can see I'm tired. Literally, like, at this time, I'm talking to, like, I know I'm talking to you, but when you're doing a live, the person that's answering in theory, besides reading the stuff on, is generally the person on the screen, because unless if you're older, let's put it this way, are you older than 16? If you're older than 16, I can invite you on the screen. Simple as that. And if it's a discussion, you want to have a discussion a little bit more about, like, cultural backgrounds, we can have a discussion on cultural backgrounds on here, person to person. So I don't mind doing that as well. I can set that up, not a problem. I'm just wary about weird people coming on and leaving funny messages. Like, there's some people that are so vindictive, They just want people to stay in their lane, but I'm not the stay in their lane type. I'm like, I'm going to stand my ground and I'm going to help people up at the same time. Okay, so you can come on lives with me. You're welcome to. If you'd like to do that, we can arrange a time. Just, send me a message on, just keep talking. I could actually get you on live now. So I'm a little tired at the moment. Can we arrange? Would you be able to do you want to go live? Would you be interested in coming onto the screen with? You're welcome to. You're absolutely welcome to. I'm thoroughly enjoying this discussion, and I don't mind having a discussion on your culture. Give us more information on India. I'm all ears. Listen, I like all the foods. Like you could probably name a whole list of the foods, and I've probably eaten them all. So, you know, yeah. Hi, how are you, Kat? I love the name, by the way. Have you noticed? I know these earpiece that I think everybody's captured and all by these ear. I'm using them because it's actually it's a mic. So I have a mic attached to it, see? And if I were to, I'm using my phone. And if I were to use this mic with this into the phone, I keep tripping on myself. So I decided, let me try out something new so I don't fall or hurt myself again, because I'm prone to just falling. It's like sure, we can definitely do that. You will be, believe it or not, you will, thank God you're like over 16, 17, because now I can say, okay, we can invite somebody on the screen. I've had a few people that are interested, but everybody's scared. They're like, I don't know if we can go. I'm like, why are you guys so scared? It's just a screen. In fact, then I won't be talking to myself. I'll be talking to somebody. I mean, you know what I mean. You know, you'll have somebody else on the screen and you'll see the person versus just seeing yourself on the screen. So if some crazy person comes over and asks me a question, I'm not like, rah, 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 because I'm sure people are like, this chick's crazy. She's losing. And nobody's watching this is the part that gets me, is like, I don't know if anybody's reading all the messages on the screen, because I am. And I know I react. I'm like, I'm a reactor. So yeah, if people are like, are you talking to me? So I know how weird it looks. I do understand. This is why people are so scared. They just don't know how they're going to react. So I'm falling for everybody. I'm like, this is how it works, guys. I've tested it all out. I've even lost my marbles on screen. So we now know. We now know that I will look crazy, but it's okay. I'm allowed to look like I'm still trying to work it out. So yeah, and I think people want the reaction, right? They want you to do all weird things, and I'm like, I'm just gonna stay calm. Just take that woo-saw, or like a moment to breathe. Yeah. Thank you. I do appreciate it. In fact, I might just do that now, if you don't mind. It has been a little over an hour, so I'm like, ooh, this is a long, and then I have to go back on TikTok. I'm like, ooh, lots of discussions, but I'm liking it. Look at this. Like, we're talking. We're having a discussion from overseas. I love it. That's okay. We'll learn as we go along. As you know, my first language was not English. My first language was Japanese. No, in fact, my first language was Indonesian. It wasn't even Japanese. I grew up in Indonesia as a kid. I was born in Singapore. You know, that's how it goes. Thank you. Hi, how are you? Killiant17. Killiant17, is that correct? Folks, I'm gonna head on out. I am a little, you can see, it's a lot of work. People don't realize how draining this is. But what I do like about going live is that you can use this as, you can repurpose these videos and reconstruct them into like actual edited videos for the platform. Same thing you can do on TikTok. So while you're trying to film all these other videos, like, all you need to do is just go live, and in most cases you can actually download them. So that's kind of saves a little bit of time. Thank you guys. Thank you so much for popping over. I do appreciate it. And yes, I will be back for another discussion. And feel free to
to come over the next time. Faizan, sorry. Thank you. I appreciate the conversation too. It turned into a much better, more realistic discussion than, oh my gosh, here I'm losing my temper on the screen. Everybody's like, what's wrong with her? She's like crazy. I could see everybody's like, is she talking to me? Is she talking to me? Is she talking to me? No. I'm talking to the person that like insulted me on screen. That's why. Sorry. Okay, I'm staying calm, yeah. And thank you. So feel free, now that we know that you're older than 16 or 17, feel free to join me on screen. You're absolutely welcome to. I do not have a problem with that as long as it's like a good discussion and it's like responsible and nothing, all these weird comments that I get. I'm like, why are these people like trying to cause drama? So, yeah. So yes, we can talk culture the next discussion. I love talking about culture. We can talk about different countries. We can talk about the experiences of technology around different countries. I love doing that too. Okay. Thank you again, guys. I really appreciate you guys coming over. As you would say in Japanese, arigatou gozaimashita. Yes, one last question, of course. What's your last question? I'm waiting for the last question. No question. Do you have another question? Did I get the pronunciation of your name right? Faizna? I don't think when I invite a guest, as long as you're over the age of 16, I think I put my thing down, you're absolutely welcome to join me. I've set it up accordingly. I tried it once before, and then I found out that the young person was actually a young person under the age of 8. So I was like, well, that would explain why I couldn't get the person on. So yes, you have to be over the age of 16. I am absolutely willing and prepared to invite people as long as it's like a good, responsible discussion to join me on screen. No problem, no problem. So you should be fine. All I really need to do in theory is to tap your name. And if your name says that you're over the age, and then we can talk about, if you want to talk about more about how to get the subscriptions to get to 50. So this is the whole thing with YouTube. And it took me a whole year just to get to this point. Mind you, it has not been easy on YouTube. They don't make it easy. I think it's a test. It's a real test. And some people say, oh, we can get like 1,000 followers in a month. I'm like, I don't know how you guys did it, but I didn't even get close. It's so difficult. So I'm an honest, real person, and from my experience, as long as you're consistently like uploading videos and trying your best and trying to stay out of demonetization subjects and discussions, that 50 will be hit. You will be able to like reach that 50 in order to go live by yourself. But you're absolutely welcome to join me on the lives. I really have no problem this is how I make friends now. I don't go out and socialize I don't go out. This is it. This is where I go out. I go out and I meet you guys. This is how I meet my friends. The worlds have changed. It's switched over from being in your room. Like, this is what my mom would say. You're going to go to your room and finish your homework and make sure you don't come out, and we're not going to give you dinner until you finish your homework. Now it's like, okay guys, we're dressing up and we're going back to the room to dress up to go live on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook. It's reversed. It's like it doesn't make sense. This is not how I grew up. I grew up the other way around. Going out would mean getting dressed up and going outside and like meeting friends outside at a restaurant or something. Now it's like, go to your room, dress up and go live. It's so funny. It's like totally different.
You're absolutely for sure. So let's do this. I will try my best to get back on if I'm not tired tomorrow. But if you'd like to try it out and go live, we can test out the live. I'm gonna wear this crazy headset because obviously the sound is not distracting. It's not making crackling noises in the background. And my hands are free, and I'm not tripping on myself. I'm not tripping. I cannot. I'm done with that. I'm done with that. Okay, I'm heading on out, folks. Thank you so much. So yes, I will gladly invite people as long as it's cordial and responsible space over the age of like 18 to join me on the lives. Not a problem. I do not mind. But it has to be respectful and responsible, and everybody needs to be happy. We can be positive vibes, positive vibes. That's all I want. I just want positive vibes because I understand people. I understand people from around the world, and I understand language barriers too. I get it. I was there. I mean, I didn't speak English my whole life, so I had a learning disability, having to relearn a different language and start over again on English. It was so hard. It's so hard. It's never easy. People don't understand if you haven't learnt another language besides the country you're living in. That's a barrier. That's a very hard barrier to break even with. Okay, I will be back. I will try my best to be back tomorrow. I'll put on a. I love the conversation, by the way. This was so cool. I really did enjoy this. This is great. This is so fun, guys. Okay. Thank you again. Arigatou gozaimashita. And then matashita. Sayonara. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye. Thank you. I'll put a link underneath this, okay, for the live. Okay, thank you guys. Thank you. Ta-da, bye-bye.